right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into some community conversations. And the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. Don't forget that. You want to communicate with us on social media, please use that. And then also the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. We do want to get into some conversations. And today we're going over into the Upper East region. Some disturbances have been taking place. Bawku, Bolga, some disturbances among senior secondary schools. Let's take a look at this report. We'll come back and then we'll delve into some conversations.
During the writing of a final examination mathematics paper organized by the Commission for Technical and Vocational Education and Training at the Bolga Technical Institute on Monday, 2 students, a teacher, and national service personnel were picked up for allegedly engaging in examination malpractice. The suspects were detained, but the 2 teachers were granted bail after the principal of the school, Mr. Yorose Zakaria, intervened. However, on Tuesday, the teachers were rearrested and taken back to the office of the NIB. The action got the students agitated, hence the rioting. The riot resulted in the destruction of school property and 7 vehicles belonging to teachers. Principal of Boltec, Yorose Zakaria, has been speaking to Citi News.
The students were demanding to see their police who were taken to BNN office. So I had to rush from BNN office and the police came and actually they destroyed some property, including the vice principal academics, a brother's car and 2 cars, and some few cars had damages.
Vice principal in charge of academic, Emilia Sigiri, whose vehicle was vandalized, shared her ordeal with Citi News.
7 students and they don't see it. I don't know what I'm going to do. We came to work and we heard them chanting, and so they had to hide me in the administrator's office.
The Upper East Regional Security Council, RECSEC, led by the regional minister Stephen Yakubu, after an assessment of the situation, closed down the school.
My understanding is that what is happening here is exactly also what is happening in Bawku also. And that tells me that it's a coordinated plan. Okay? So we have conferred and we have decided that we are going to close the school. It is better for everyone. So we are going to give you an hour or 2 to leave campus. All of you should pack and leave, and then we are going to allow the final year students to come in only when they have a paper to write.
Some students have also been speaking to Citi News about the impact of RECSEC's decision on their ongoing CTVET examination.
As I'm talking to you now, God willing, tomorrow we'll be having science paper, which I was expecting to use this afternoon to study. But here is the case: things have just happened, and then I don't know. Like, I've not studied anything, and then tomorrow I don't even know what to write. To be frankly speaking,
I feel very bad because some of us are from far away, and dismissing us that we should go home is really going to be a problem on the part of those who are from far away.
Vandalism by students of the Bolga Technical Institute has resulted in destruction to school property and also vehicles of teachers. Regional Security Coordinating Council has moved in swiftly to close down the school temporarily. But final year students say their decision will affect them badly as they now have to write their CTVET examination from their various homes.
Right, well, that report was filed by our colleague Frederick Awuni, who's our Upper East Regional Correspondent. And you know, especially in Bawku, we hear a lot about disturbances there already, you know, in that town, and the border issues. And now we've got a lot of refugees who are actually spilling in from Burkina Faso because of the unrest on the border towns there. The least thing we need now is for students to also get roped into violent activity compounding the issue, and for it to spill over into something else that we can't deal with. And it's really unfortunate because, as we heard, they're in the middle of writing exams. You know, and at this level, one would think that would take precedence. That, you know, there'll be a lot of focus on getting that done. For this to happen, I think there needs to be more of a watchful eye on the activities going on there.
I think the Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education, in conjunction with National Security, needs to come up with some kind of a plan to stem I would refer to it as a tide of, you know, there's this thing where students now feel like it's okay and almost their right to cheat in exams if they want to. Right? It's almost like a given that any exam that will come, if you are hot, as you know, we can say in local parlance, if you are hot or you need apo or you need, you know, you can cheat in an exam and it's okay. Listen, there are people who have risen up into the ranks of leadership in this country who have cheated their way through it and gone there. Yeah, no, I'm going there because I sat in class with some. Do you understand? People cheat in exams and they feel it's okay. In the university, people are cheating in exams. So secondary school is like, it's almost like it's outrageous. Why would you arrest our people? Because it's not a problem. What is the big deal? That's why they're rioting. There's no other reason why they're rioting.
So how
they are rioting because they are offended that you should arrest us because, listen, there are more people cheating in the room. It is the people who were caught that were arrested. Let's not get it twisted here. There were a lot more people that were cheating in the room. How do I know? Because it's a systemic problem.
Okay, let's see what a few more details about this on Citi Newsroom. 4 students of Bolga Technical Institute arrested after riot. 4 students, again, of the Bolga Technical Institute have been arrested following riots at the school on Tuesday. The 4 male students were arrested on August 2nd for rioting and alleged possession of leaked exam papers. A police source said they were being held in custody for further investigations and possible prosecution. The source did not state when the police will commence prosecution. However, no arrest was made at the Bawku Technical Institute, where students also rioted and destroyed school property. At BOTEC, the students rioted in demand for the release of a teacher and a national service person who were arrested by the National Intelligence Bureau for allegedly leaking an exam paper, while at Bawku Tech, students rioted because school authorities were strict on them not to engage in exam malpractice. So this is what you're talking about, Kwekudi, that the fact that the school authorities were actually doing their job and preventing the students from cheating, the students now retaliated and said, okay, so you're not going to let us cheat. Well, then we're going to riot. How did we get there? Well, the Upper East Regional Security Council, or REGSEC, led by the Regional Minister Stephen Yakubu, has shut down both schools. We've seen that upon advice from the GES and management of the schools. He also directed that all final year students writing the Technical and Vocational Education and Training exam will only come to school to write their papers and will immediately leave to go back home. All students left their respective schools by 4 p.m. on Monday. It's, however, unclear when the 2 schools will recall their students.
Yep. Well,
it's unthinkable. I can't even fathom being that, what's the word? Intransigent, being that reckless. You're not supposed to cheat.
Yeah.
Your school authorities are trying to make sure that you don't cheat, which is going to, in the long run, affect you because you'll probably be caught anyway.
Yeah.
And you decide to riot and destroy school property.
Weren't some TAs or others involved in it as well, assisting them to cheat?
Yeah.
It just shows you the extent of the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. So our colleague, Frederick Awuni, who brought us that report, is on the line with us. Frederick, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today? Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you. Very well.
Yeah, so give us a little more context of what is happening. How many people were involved? Were there staff also involved in the cheating process and all of that? Who were arrested and all of that? Just give us a little more context.
So it started on Monday when they were about to write the mathematics paper.
Okay.
And according to the headmaster of Bolga Technical Institute, Yorose Zakaria, a teacher and also a national service personnel um, were picked up by the National Security Bureau
Okay.
for their alleged involvement in leaking out some examination papers. And so they got to realize that from two of the students who had mobile phones, and they picked the intelligence that the teacher in question has sent or posted the leaked exam paper on a WhatsApp platform where these students belong.
Yeah.
And so they were arrested.
Okay.
So two of the teachers and two students were picked up by the NID. Now, when they were sent to the office of the NID, they were detained, and later the headmaster came there to bail them. Now, the context here is it was only the teacher and the national service personnel who were bailed, but the students were still held.
Okay.
Okay. So they were held and to reappear yesterday in the morning at the
Yeah.
NID office. So when the head teacher accompanied the two suspects to NID office, the students agitated, demanding that their teacher and the national service personnel be released, otherwise there wouldn't be peace.
Yeah.
Now, at the time all this was happening, the head teacher was not even in the school because he was together with the other teachers at the NID. So they picked intelligence. Police came to calm them down, but then were met with resistance. The students started pelting stones and other offensive weapons at the police. So the police had to retreat, and then remobilize and came back also with some minimum force, firing warning shots and tear gas to calm down the situation. Now, the vandalism, about 7 vehicles belonging to teachers, have been smashed or vandalized, and also school property, the library, and some other classroom. But then also the tear gas really had some impact on some of the students. There was a female student who was really dying for breath, but then it took the intervention of the police to rush her to the regional hospital where she was resuscitated. Also, the police van was not spared. The crowd control van that the police came with wasn't spared. They threw or pelted stones at them and even injured two police officers. They had some minor injuries as a result of that. Now, 4 students have been arrested in connection with yesterday's violence. But surprisingly, the two schools, Bogatanga Technical Institute and Boku Technical Institute, it appeared concurrently routed because in Boku Tech, the students rioted because exams officials were very strict on them, didn't allow them to engage in any examination malpractice, and also complain about their feeding and so on. But generally, the picture is that the students are not happy because officials are being strict and enforcing that they do not in any form engage in examination malpractice. And that has been the reason. Some even asked why the officials were hard on them. Why? Is it the first time people are cooperating in examination? And that was their life and they should allow them to do that. So that is the reason for which yesterday's riot occurred. Now, this morning, students of Bogatanga Technical Institute have not been allowed into the school premises. Currently, they are outside of the school. And my understanding when I interacted with the principal is that they will move them in by 8:20. So currently they are loitering around or outside of the school premises. The reason is that they will be thoroughly searched by the police before they enter to sit for their integrated science paper today. They raise a lot of concerns that the decision by REXEC is affecting them because yesterday some of them, particularly those who come from outside of the region, were not able to get home and don't even have relatives in the region. And so a place to lay their head on, a shelter was a problem for them. Some had to sleep in the mosques and other, religious places. But then also there were others who had to sleep in chaos because they say they don't have any relative, and that they think that Rexec should look into it, such that for those who do not have residents within the region, be given some places to sleep. But then also they say for this paper, they are writing their integrated science paper today. They say they haven't prepared well, and it wouldn't be surprised if they perform abysmally because there's no time for them to read. They were asked to go home yesterday. Most of them didn't have sleeping place and have to sleep outside, and that really they didn't have time to prepare enough for the exams today.
I see. So, Frederick, right now, as it stands, do you have any idea if those gentlemen who are still under arrest will be permitted to write their exams?
Exactly. They will be permitted to write the exams today. But I think after the exams, depending on the investigations by the security agencies, we will not know whether they will be granted bail or they will still be detained.
Okay. All right.
Oh, as you can see, they are now about screening them to have access to the school before they can then sit for the integrated science paper.
Okay. So you have members of the NIB there?
Not at all. It's only the police who are presently here.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Frederick, for that update.
Great.
Thank you. So we've been speaking with Frederick Awuni. He's an Upper East correspondent.
Oh.
And,
this whole notion of where did we go wrong? Where people think they have a right to cheat.
Have a right. So we've transitioned from it's okay to cheat to now we have the right to cheat.
I mean, because what he said was they were basically like, this is our life. Like, if we want to cheat, why are you trying to stop us? And it's almost like people have done it before. It's done. Leave us and let us do what we need to do to pass our exam and move in life.
And let me just say that. Historically, WAEC hasn't helped because WAEC has always pretended that this thing is not happening. Listen, today, if WAEC wants to challenge the matter, we've had people, not even this year alone, but in this incident, a teacher was arrested. Okay, teacher and national service personnel were arrested for passing, leaking exam that they are writing
on WhatsApp,
not past papers. Current exam that they are writing has been leaked. I don't know what WAEC's defense is now. Do you understand? Because look, in the past they've always defended it and said it's not true.
That they don't have a cheating problem.
They have a cheating problem, and it's not. It's happened in different parts of. Look, is this the first time there's been rioting? No. It's not the first time there's been rioting about exams. In the Ashanti region, we reported this thing, some months ago. There were exams. People were rioting again because they were not allowed to cheat. Do you understand? Look, in 2013, I was just putting up some articles. I saw in 2013, I remember Bishop Dag stood in church and talked about APO and leakages of exams, and WAEC took him on and said he was being irresponsible and making comments. And they even wrote a whole article about it. Today, it's still going on.
Confront the
problem. And you have no defense. Because you're instead of confronting the problem and dealing with it,
this is what we get.
This is what you have at the end of the day.
Rioting, destruction of property.
Yeah. And you see, the problem is that nobody is coming out to boldly talk about it and talk against it, because there are too many people that are complicit
in there,
and have also benefited from that loose system.
The other issue, it speaks to something that's lacking, and this in no way justifies the actions of these students, right? But for a student to get to final exam level, let's say, or their final level, and to feel so inadequately prepared that they think this is the only choice they can make is to cheat their way through or past it. Something is definitely wrong with the system. We know that there have been challenges. We know that months of school have been lost because of COVID. We know people are trying to get up to speed. We know the quality of education is not exactly equitable across the country, right? Let's be realistic. it does not justify what they're doing.
No.
But there is still a problem of underpreparedness of our students for things like the standardized exams, etc.
Yeah.
To the extent that they feel they have to do this, and this is the only way they're going to be able to progress because they're so ill prepared. And you even said it today that a lot of the students are worried about this integrated science exam because they feel they're just not ready for it. And they're afraid of getting bad results, etc. But still,
but Kokri,
it doesn't justify vandalism.
So what sort of education system, right, prepares students in such a terribly poor way that they feel as though if they don't learn the night before the exam, they are doomed? I mean, really? What kind of an education system is that?
There's a problem.
It's a trashy system. Listen, when I was in secondary school, one of the things we were told was that the night before exams, you sleep.
You're supposed to rest.
You rest your brain. Because if you have not prepared up to that point,
forget
about
about
it. Of effort to put in is going to make much of a difference. A little bit, maybe, not much of a difference. The preparation is way before the exam. And that's a story of life. What we are teaching people by the way we've run our education system and our exams is that you can trick your way through life. That's what we're teaching young people.
We see it, don't we?
Of course.
We see it in people who rise into certain places.
And there's always a fast-track way. And if you're smart enough, you will do it. You can outwit the system. We've taught it, and we've created a system that is built on outwitting people.
Exactly. And see, people they might not see the ramifications of this, but talk to fellow business owners or people you know who are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Sorry to say this, but they'll tell you about employees who steal from them, who rob them blindly. No matter who, they bring people in, they've got to sack them because they steal so badly. They're always trying to cut corners. They're always trying to, like you said, get ahead the quick way where there's no quick way. And you ask yourself, well, they didn't just walk into this establishment and learn that.
And they didn't
it's
learn
a habit
it here.
that developed long ago.
And it's a habit that is developed in communities. Do you understand? So communities of students, communities of, town, villages, town, whatever.
This is how we get by.
This is how we get by. We survive.
So they think it's a normal thing to go into someone's establishment and be a thief.
And by extension,
because everyone does it.
That's how the Sakawa system has developed.
It's a whole...
Where we feel it's okay. So people are sitting online, scamming people online, taking their money and using their money to enrich themselves. And we think it's perfectly okay. We don't punish it. If we punish it, the DV plates that are in Accra will be half of the number that are in Accra.
Charlie.
And guess what? It's not legal to drive around with DV plates beyond a certain time. But guess what? We are also not arresting people with DV plates.
No.
It's a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so why does it surprise us that people want to drag us through visa processes? Because we are not trustworthy.
And it starts because at a very young
age,
age,
basic level,
you are
allowing children to think it's okay to cheat your way through life.
It's a
It's
a systemic problem.
Yeah.
We have to address it. It's a shame.
We've created a trashy system. And Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education, you have a lot of work to do. And you can't do it alone. You have to do it in conjunction with the National Investigations Bureau. You have to do it in conjunction. Listen, our whole society is crumbling, but we don't see it. No, we don't see it because, you see, everything looks nice and rosy right now. But a system that is built on the fake, on fraud, a society that is built on cheat me, I cheat you, a system that is built on lack of integrity. The whole system lacks integrity.
It's like, I like to call it, it's like a pie with a beautiful golden crust.
Oh, yeah.
And if you lift up the crust, the pudding inside is rotten.
It's rotten. That's Ghana for you. And it starts at that level.
We have a lot to do.
Yeah. No, what we have to do is it's mind-blowing. You can't even believe. Look, listen, that's why yesterday we were talking about reparations.
Yeah.
And you're saying that if they bring us the money, should they bring us the money? How do we want our reparations if they decide to pay us back for the ills done? money, not in the system that we have.
Well,
No.
on that note, let's take a quick break. You're watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Let us know your thoughts. Hashtag Breakfast Daily. Send a message on WhatsApp at 0550 585832. We'll be back after this break.